Thank you for being here. First, I did want to start off and say thank you very much. PennDOT and one of my local boroughs of Lemoyne worked very, very well, and your staff worked very patiently with all of the ins and outs of doing a mural. They wanted to do a mural getting off the highway. And
beautiful, yes.
Hopefully it's not distracting.
Really happy. Yeah. I think it's gorgeous. First of all, it's the history of Lemoyne,
right.
But it's tied to transportation, so
It is. So I just wanted to put that out there and say thank you for your staff, and they worked very hard to work with the borough and make sure that everybody was safe in doing it as well as getting it accomplished. So thank you very much. I want to go back a little bit to the Real ID if we can. That is a question that I get a tremendous amount in the office. We're lucky we can come right to Harrisburg and get our renewals and all of the things that go with that. One of my questions is it's $29.50. Originally, when we had this conversation, everybody kept estimating the fact that the license itself was going to cost about $100 because of the technology and everything else. And my concerns are the gaps. And the reason is that $29.50, which is very reasonable for someone who may need it or want it.
It's actually $30.
Okay, we have $29.50. Okay. So, yeah, it went up 50 cents. Okay, so the ability for us to take that 29, that's not going to cover the entire $100 million that we've talked about of the cost of this. And how are we making up that gap? Because the idea behind our opt-in was that those that wanted this service would pay for the service.
Correct. And so we're basing everything on estimates right now. We're assuming from what we're seeing in other states that 25% of those who have IDs are going to want Real ID. That's what we see as opt-in on others. We felt that $30 was fair. It covered a good portion of the costs. And we feel that we fall in the middle. Some states are charging much more than that. We understand the impact on the airline industry and other economic development areas of what getting a Real ID may mean. We know that people who rely on it. We know seniors who need to fly and others are going to be required to get a Real ID. So we felt that was a good price to cover the costs as well as be fair to our constituents.
Okay, and so how are we?
But you are correct in that it doesn't cover the full cost.
Correct. So how are we making that up then? How are we paying the $100 million?
Well, we have set aside, for the startup, and we have, planned regularly. We have a certain amount of funds for our facilities, and it's coming out of those budgeted line items.
So it's coming from other areas of the department in and of itself.
We're not taking. It's coming from money that would be used in our driver and vehicle services. Yes.
Are we going to see any cut in services from those areas that some of the money is coming from?
No, you should not see any reduction. We continue, as has been pointed out, we continue to work on our regular service for those who want regular driver license and CDLs, and that will continue to be a challenge. It's a big part of what we do. But no, you will not see decreases.
Okay, and just one clarification. Earlier you had talked about 5 new centers opening up when Representative Sonny had asked. And one of the issues that you had put, and I understand the same day with our regular driver's license, did I understand correctly that the new centers with Real ID, you'd be mailing them out, or they wouldn't be same day, or they will be same day?
The new centers will
Real
be billed
ID.
to the Real ID specification. You can get them same day.
You will be.
We know that there will be emergencies. Like if you have to travel for a funeral, a sickness, there are times when you need an ID right away, and we want to make that available, and it will be spread geographically around Pennsylvania. Okay. And you will know where the quickest one is for you to get that Real ID. But for those of you who don't need it and can plan ahead, there will be that mail option. And we're also retrofitting centers as well.
Okay, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And one quick question to fit in at the end is that I have a lot of classes or a lot of high schools in our area and everything else with the driver's license testing. One of the biggest issues that they run into is the extreme waiting in order to take a test. Many times my office will get called. We know that it's 6 months, and I tell everyone the day you get your permit, you need to call that a day, including my own son who did not listen to me, I might point out. He reminded me I was a constituent too, and I should, fix that. But my question really lies in the fact of why does it take 6 months to get? Because the turnaround also, and I went red, so you get to finish the question. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. For the retakes, if they fail, the biggest issue is not only the 6 months, because you have to wait 6 months anyway before you can take the test. That in and of itself lies within the guidelines. But if they fail, they can't get another test for 3 months.
I will try to answer this as fast as possible, if allowed, and it won't take long. First of all, I have 2 children who turned 16 while I was in this job, which is very cruel to make them take a test with their mother's picture in the driver license center. So I know, and I know all the issues that they've had, and trust me, they're friends and their friends' parents who are very, very anxious to call me to tell me when they have issues. What we have done is last year we did a pilot program with third-party testers to help get people through. We had 10 locations. Of those 10 locations, we were able to get an extra 20,000 tests in. We are now expanding that. And so we are looking at that, and we understand that that's a problem. And we don't want, we want to reduce wait times while you're there to get your license, but we also want to reduce wait times for testing. The average is 50% of the people who take tests fail, so we know that they have to come back to take the test again. So we are looking at that, but part of what we're doing is this third-party tester, as well as bringing on more people and extending our hours when we can in the centers that aren't already operating full-time. We've brought in, people to come in on Mondays, which is normally a day that they're closed because they have to work Saturdays. So we're looking at those options as well.